Hey fellow YouTubers, I am here to tell you how to make your vacuum cleaner's life last a long time. So, what you want to do, if you say you have a bagless or a vacuum cleaner, a bagless is going to have more filters than a bagged vacuum, usually. Okay, on the bagless machines, you want to replace those filters every once in a while. And you want to clean them every once in a while, because when you clean them every once in a while, they actually last longer. Okay. Another thing is, if you want your carpet to stay clean, you need to replace your belt, because lots of these vacuums nowadays, they have stretch belts, not geared belts, meaning the belt is smooth and flat, meaning it will stretch. What happens is, I'm sure you can go 3 years and eventually your belt breaks. Well, little did you know, about 3 years you really weren't cleaning your carpet. Your belt over time, it heats up when it goes over that metal spindle from the motor. When it gets hot, it stretches and expands because it's rubber, right? And what happens is your brush roll does not have enough tension on it for it to spin real fast. And a lot of times it'll just stop spinning because the belt is so stretched out and so weak that it'll just burn right through it and it breaks your belt. So you want to make sure to change your belt every, say if you vacuum regularly, maybe like a couple times a week, change your belt every month. If you have a geared belt that has teeth on it, you don't need to change it because it doesn't stretch. When it breaks, then you get a new belt. Like on an Electrolux upright vacuum cleaner, the geared belts, they have teeth on them. Okay? They have teeth on them. Those will last you a few years before they break. Now, there's other things you can do in order for those to break. They're only like a $14 belt. The others are like a couple dollars to get the belt. But the other belts that are flat and smooth, they're stretch belts. You want to change them once a month. Okay? Another thing is, for nice thorough cleaning, and I'm telling y'all this to help y'all out. I work at a vacuum store for a living, and I fix them, I repair them, and I see it all. Okay? Make sure your brush roller is clean. All that hair that gets tangled up in between the bristles, make sure to clean that out. Make sure your brush roll stays clean. Your bristles need to stay clean. Make sure there's nothing in between your bristles. Also, on the ends of your brush roll, that slide into the grooves on the head, make sure those are clean too. And make sure it's spinning properly, okay? Make sure it's spinning smoothly like it should be. On a bag machine, I'm going to tell you a trick. If you do not let your bag get completely full before changing it, so say your bag is halfway full and you put a new bag in it, you're actually making your vacuum last a lot longer. It is harder on the motor. The more dirt you have in that bag means the more dirt that vacuum has to force air to go through in order to give you suction. So half a bag of dirt, the more dirt you have in your bags, the more dirt that your vacuum cleaner motor has to force air to get through to be able to give you suction, which means it runs the motor harder and harder the more dirt you have in your bag. Another thing, sorry, I'm getting lost a little bit. That's pretty much it. You just want to make sure your vacuum is good. Keep the maintenance up on it. And every once, you're gonna need to. I mean, if you have a vacuum that lasts a long time, like a Kirby or something, you're gonna need to replace the brush roller eventually. But let me tell you something. Don't buy Bissell. Don't buy Bissell. And I'll tell you exactly why. If you buy a Bissell and you go to repair it on your own, or you take it somewhere to get repaired, say it has a stuck motor brush. The motor's, it runs good. The motor's good, but there's nothing we can do. We can't go in there and get that motor brush to unstick itself, because Bissell encases their motors away, so you can't get to their motors. There's no way you can get into their motors. They encase it away. You literally have to bust the casing, which ruins the entire vacuum. So then you just can't do anything. Other vacuums you can get into. My suggestion is, if you want to get a cheap beat-around vacuum, one that you don't have to really worry much about, don't get a Bissell. Get an Eureka. Eurekas have been around as long as Bissell, since the early 1900s, one of the first vacuums to come out when vacuums were invented. But Eurekas last, I'd say if you keep the maintenance up on them like you're supposed to, they last longer than a Bissell, and you can actually get to the motors. So, and I like Eureka. They're good vacuums. They're good, solid vacuums. Compared to Bissell, they're just cheap trash. They're really made disposable, because once something goes with the motor, there's nothing you can do. Another thing is, there is a type of stuff that you can sprinkle on your carpets that you suck up in your vacuum cleaner, and it's supposed to make the carpets smell good and stuff like that. And it's a real fine powder, white powder stuff. Don't use that on your goddamn carpets, because you want to know why? What happens is that dust is so damn fine. When your vacuum sucks it up, it works its way past the filters completely, pretty much, and it'll get into your motor, and it'll literally coat your motor in a white powder dust. It'll get between the motor brush and the armature, which generates electricity, which powers your entire vacuum, and it completely ruins your motor. You do not want to use that stuff. Don't use it. It will shorten your vacuum's life by a pretty good amount. Now me, I'm 15 years old, and I'm obsessed with vacuums. I'm high functioning autistic, okay? So I have a lot of vacuums. I've probably owned every vacuum pretty much out there. I have almost 20 Electrolux canisters. I have one that on the sleds, you know, like the sled runner ones, which is over here. I'll take y'all to it. It's one that it's kind of like an old, it has the sled runners on it. I have Kirby's, Eurekas, like I said earlier in the video. Eureka I do like. I have Rainbow. I have the D3C. I have an old Rainbow. It's about 40 years old. I even have a 1935 Hoover Special. Yes, 1935. I said 1935. Model 475. It's called the Hoover Special. And guess what? It still runs. It still runs strong. And you know what? I'll even upload a video one day on this YouTube channel of it running. So I think it's like 84 years old, because it's 2019. So yeah, it's about 84 years old, and it still runs strong, and it has been used a lot. The paint on the handle is completely like wore off. It's been used. It probably, within the 84 years of it being used, you could buy probably 100 freaking Bissell vacuum. I mean, a couple hundred. Oh my god, it got to be a couple hundred, because Bissell doesn't last but like a couple years, and that thing's been around for. It's just, no vacuum has survived 84 years and been used every day a lot, been abused like that one, and still run. It's incredible. I'm surprised that it even still runs. And yes, I know what I'm talking about. I did my research. You can look up model 475 Hoover Special, and it will tell you 1935. You can find ones from 1920s as well, and they're Hoovers, and they're a lot like the one that I have, but they're a little bit different, because it's a different model. But those are even more sought after because they're older. Now, I would love to have one of the first vacuum cleaners to come out. I really would. But I haven't got to my collection there yet. I also do bicycles too. Yeah, I collect bicycles. I just collect about anything. I collect antiques. I fix anything. I do pretty much anything. The neighbor wants the tree cut down, I'll go cut the damn tree down. I mean, I do it all. I do stuff that people don't want to do at 15 years old, and I always have. And I will continue to. That's how I make my money. So, but yes, anyways, we're kind of getting off track here. I just wanted to tell y'all, if you're wondering why a vacuum doesn't last long, or I keep having to go through vacuums, and there's multiple reasons why you're going through vacuums so fast. There's really two main reasons that you're going through a vacuum fast. One reason is you're not buying a quality vacuum cleaner. That's one of the big reasons. If you're looking for a vacuum cleaner that you can hold on to, like my father, he has trouble, getting used to new things. Once he's used, say he drove that truck for 20 years. It's not just giving him the keys to a brand new truck and then it be at that. It's gonna take him a lot of, fussing to get used to that new truck. He doesn't adapt well to new things. So he always complained that his vacuums would never last but a couple years, and then he'd have to get used to a new vacuum cleaner. And it gets worse. He didn't like, there was a broom that he used for years, and the bristles ended up being that short by the time he was done using it. He bought a brand new broom, and he never liked that broom. He never liked it. Still doesn't. And we've had it for a year now. He still hates that broom. Dude, it's a broom. That's what I told him. He's like, I know, I have trouble, adapting to new things. That's how bad it is. So, if that's one of your issues you're having, just invest in a good vacuum cleaner, okay? Invest in a good vacuum cleaner. Don't go to Walmart and buy one. Don't go to Costco and buy one. Buy a vacuum cleaner that it's going to cost you a little bit of money, but do research before you buy the vacuum cleaner, okay? Because I know the people that are going to be watching this video could be all the way from Hong Kong from where I'm at. So, all I can tell you is before you buy a vacuum cleaner, if you're looking for a machine that is going to last a good while and that's durable and dependable and tough, do research. And do research. And go through the prices and the names and go through ratings, look what people say on them and stuff like that. A lot of people don't, Kirby's, they last forever. They really last pretty much forever. As long as you take care of them and keep the maintenance up on them like you're supposed to, they'll freaking outlast you. But they weigh a ton because they're metal, so people don't like that. But other people do because they're hard to break, they're durable, they last 50 years or more. If you keep the maintenance up on them like you're supposed to, they last. But other people want a machine that's lightweight. Do your research, okay? Do your research before you go and buy a vacuum cleaner. Don't get that impulse and buy one, because you might end up regretting it. Because you might end up paying $2,000 for a vacuum cleaner, and then come to find out you could have paid $1,000 for this other vacuum cleaner, which has double life of the $2,000 vacuum cleaner. So that's why. Because there's so many name brands out there, there's so many different kinds, there's so many different qualities. You got to do your research first. Electrolux, they're not like they used to be. Electrolux canisters, anything can be taken apart on them. It's amazing how everything comes apart. Now they're making, Electrolux is now making their vacuum cleaners to dispose of, like everything else nowadays. Another thing is, shoot, I had a brain fart, sorry. But Simplicities are good, okay? Simplicities, Recaro, they're lightweight. You know, if that's what you're wanting for lightweight, they're super lightweight. You know, Oryx, they're decent, but they're not good for rug. Or the bristles on them are so soft. They're better for hardwood floor and area rugs. They're not good for rugs. And see, this is the thing. Oryx, they have commercial machines, correct? Yes. Well, Oryx takes a flat, smooth stretch belt. What do you think's going to happen when you're vacuuming what? 17,000 square. I mean, just imagine you're vacuuming a hotel, okay? Say a hotel, they're constantly running the vacuum cleaner because they always have people checking in and out of rooms, so they need to use the vacuum cleaners to pick up the stuff people leave behind. Well, those, like I mentioned earlier in the video, a geared belt lasts years and it doesn't stretch when it gets hot. The smooth, flat stretch belts, called stretch belts, when they get hot, they stretch. Those belts on the Oryx, because they use those vacuums so much, they don't last long at all. They don't last. Probably like a couple days and the belts wore out, you know? It's ridiculous because they vacuum so much. So it only takes a few days for the belt to wear out. That's why if you're looking for a commercial machine, you want to make sure you buy a commercial machine that has a geared belt, not a stretch belt. Because you'd be buying a lot of belts if you got one with a stretch belt. Or you could just buy one that has a geared belt and every couple years put a belt on it when it breaks. And shit, I mean, the vacuum might break before the damn belt does. So, I mean, hell, it really, you wouldn't think that there's a lot to vacuums, but it really is a lot to vacuums when it comes down to it. It really is. Also, another thing is, you have on your vacuum cleaners, you have like a high and a low adjuster. Make sure you adjust the thing correctly to your rug, because if you have a thick, plush, poofy rug and you put it on bare floor, okay, there's several things that are going to happen. First thing is, your vacuum, the bottom plate is going to seal down to the rug, meaning it has no suction. Now, what happens when you put your hand on the hose? When the vacuum is on and it's pulling air in the hose, it has suction. What happens when you put your hand on it? It cuts the suction off, right? And why does that happen? The way the suction works is the vacuum pulls air in and then circulates it out. When you block the passage that the vacuum has to pull the air in, then it's not blowing. If it's not blowing any out, it's not pulling any in. It has no suction. That's what it is. It's pulling air in. It's pulling it in. That's the suction. But when you block that path, it cuts the suction off because you're not letting it suck in the air. So then your motor revs high. So what it does is the plate seals down to the rug because you have it adjusted too low. It cuts that airflow off. So then your brush roller it's putting a lot of stress on your belt for sure. I will tell you that. But if you have a good belt, the brush roller is still going to turn. But you're just pretty much stirring up the dirt and leaving it. You're just rearranging the dirt in your carpet because you have no suction to pull it up. What it does is the vacuum cleaner, you got that brush roller spins with those bristles, and it stirs the dirt up. You know, it stirs everything up, and then the suction pulls it up. When it gets loose, it loosens all the dirt up and then pulls it up. When you cut that suction off, You're just pretty much rearranging the dirt and then moving on with your merry way. Another thing is, not having a good belt means your brush roller is not spinning like it's supposed to, or when it hits the rug it stops spinning. You need to make sure you adjust it right. You have good belts, good filters. You want to make sure you take care of your vacuum cleaner, okay? Now, I could go on for hours on scenarios on how a vacuum cleaner operates. I can endlessly talk, but I just wanted to give you a brief, annoying, stupid me conversation about, I'm trying to help y'all out. I'm just trying to help you out a little bit. So I hope to whoever watches this, I know I only have like 1 subscriber. I'm not trying to be YouTube famous. I'm just trying to upload videos to help people, pretty much, and then I might do little other videos. I just know for right now I'm uploading videos to try to help people. I can talk a lot, just letting you know. I can be a talker. I can make no sense sometimes, and I can seem like I'm in a different universe or some crap. So I apologize if I was any of those 3, but I'm just trying to help anybody out that needs help. So that was just a brief, update on what you need to know. So I hope whoever watches this, it's any help. Thank you.